Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Riley Livingston. Early morning fire in OKTIBBEHA County leaves one man in the hospital. The fire happened on Hickory Grove Road around 2 o'clock this morning. OKTIBBEHA County Fire Coordinator KIRK ROSENHAN says one man was severely burned. He was taken to OCH Regional Medical Center for second and third degree burns. The East OKTIBBEHA Fire and Rescue, Bell Schoolhouse, and District 5 fire departments responded to the call. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Columbus police are investigating a car versus motorcycle crash. It happened around 7 o'clock Friday afternoon on Highway 45 in front of the Sonic. Columbus Police Chief Fred Shelton says a Jeep was turning into Sonic when a motorcycle crashed into the driver's side of that vehicle. The driver and passenger of the motorcycle were thrown from the cycle. The driver of the Jeep, along with both motorcycle driver and passenger, were taken to Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle for non-life-threatening injuries. Governor Phil Bryant announced late Friday that several North Mississippi cities are receiving individual disaster assistance, including Lowndes County, after the February 23rd tornado. We first brought you this story yesterday night. The assistance was approved by President Trump, according to Governor Bryant's tweet. Tornadoes and severe flooding crippled hundreds from February into the spring months across the Magnolia State. Other counties listed include Warren, Yazoo, Sharkey, Humphreys, Clay, and Monroe counties. It's the road project OKTIBBEHA County Supervisor Brickley Miller has been waiting for. Starting Monday, a portion of Poorhouse Road will officially be closed for construction. I took a trip out there to see why the project needed to happen.
Some people call it the roller coaster. Over the years, the pavement on Poorhouse Road has gotten worse, and contractors say it comes down to the soil.
Right now, the roadway underneath has expansive soils in it from our testing that we've done. And this is a soil that when it's wet, it expands, and when it dries, it contracts. And a flexible pavement material on top, of course, undulates, and we have the issues that we have now.
The $374,000 project will completely replace a little over half a mile of road.
We're going to do it in 12 segments so that we don't really impact traffic that badly. And we're going to go in and dig down about 3 feet, put in better material with geogrid underneath, and come back and then, of course, pave it.
And to help make sure their work lasts, contractors are using some different techniques.
Well, normally road repairs, you get at the final product, you would get 2 layers of chip seal. We're going to get 3 layers of chip seal. It's more reinforcement. It will make the roadway much more smooth.
Brickley Miller says the road needs to be repaired not just for safety, but for growth.
The south side of Starkville is growing the fastest. We're seeing a lot of economic development, a lot of new neighborhoods going up, and it also is the route that a lot of game day traffic uses. So it's a side of town that needs to be developed, needs a little attention. I'm so glad that the county's moving forward to take on these projects.
Miller hopes this project will be just a first step.
Which takes us to the next step of the project, which is redoing the entire road. The base repairs have to be done regardless, and so it's a good first step so we can move forward to the next project, which is redoing all of Poorhouse Road.
Miller says the goal for the project is to take about 3 weeks, and with the road reopening before the Mississippi State LSU game. Human trafficking just doesn't happen in big cities like New York or Los Angeles. It happens right here in Northeast Mississippi. And today, concerned citizens gathered at the national headquarters of 8 Days of Hope to formulate a plan to help victims in our area. Lee County Sheriff Jim Johnson was one of the speakers, and he said there have been several sting operations here to catch men who wanted to harm young girls and boys. 8 Days of Hope President and CEO Steve TYBOR says there is a huge need to provide safe havens for these victims.
There's only 600 beds in America. I mean, think about this. There's 13,000 animal shelters. Okay, nothing wrong with that. But there's only 600 beds for someone who's been rescued from sex trafficking. Our hope, the goal today, is to get the word out that the need is huge. And now we, the church, need to respond. And that's part of our announcement.
TYBOR says 8 Days of Hope plans to help construct a brand new 20-bed facility in the area next spring as part of their new partnership with Grace and Mercy Ministries. He says human trafficking is the second largest illegal crime in America after drugs. It's now time to turn things over to meteorologist Trevor Burchett for a first look at our forecast. Trevor, I really can't complain today.
Riley, you know, it was one of those days, regardless whether you were at the football game or just enjoying your Saturday, it was absolutely gorgeous. Temperatures for many people didn't even make it out of the 80s. We're still 86 right now in Columbus, 87 up in Tupelo, and 86 right now up in Amory. Overnight tonight, temperatures are going to fall right around 80 degrees by 8 o'clock if you're heading out on the town or out to dinner, and eventually into the lower 60s by early tomorrow morning. Now, Monday is the first official day of fall, but don't grab your pumpkin spice latte yet. The temperatures are still going to feel like summer. I'll have that full forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Trevor. There's a burn ban in effect for the city of Starkville, but the ban does not extend to OKTIBBEHA County. Still, county firefighters want residents to be careful when burning. Our Stephanie Poole spoke to fire officials about what people should know before heading outdoors.
An early fall weekend is the time some homeowners pick to deal with burn piles. East OKTIBBEHA County Fire Services Coordinator KIRK Rosenhan gives advice to residents to stay safe.
Any sort of fire on the outside there, it can catch up vegetation, woods, impinge on a nearby building, whether that be a house or a barn or a car. And it can be a dangerous thing, not only from a property standpoint, but from people.
Rosenhan has dealt with a number of grass fires that have gotten out of hand, some because people are burning toxic materials. He says those who burn plastic, rubber, or trash in the county can be charged with public nuisance.
The DEQ's been up here several times where people were burning large amounts of trash that put out a lot of smoke and noxious fumes and had a lot of residue.
Even the smallest grass fires can bring in a lot of heat. Rosenhan encourages people to check the grounds around the burn piles, stay alert, and always have water on hand.
We've got some areas that haven't been, shall we say, cleaned up for a good while, and it can be a real problem. We always want people to be careful with outside burning and, you know, don't do it on a windy day and not near a building, and always have that fire attended.
Reporting in OKTIBBEHA County, Stephanie Poole, WCBI News.
Rosenhan says there are no clear indications if OKTIBBEHA County will follow with the burn ban. Earlier this year, we brought you the story of Mason Murphy, the 2-year-old son of Mississippi State football player Marcus Murphy. Mason was diagnosed with MDS and could soon be in need of a bone marrow transplant. Today, the Be the Match organization partnered with MSU to help Mason. Even though there are 19 million people in the Be the Match registry, Mason only has a 23% chance of finding a donor.
Well, he was diagnosed with myelodysplastic syndrome back in October of 2018, and since he's been on the registry, he's had a blood transfusion, and he's been stable. So if there is an immediate reason for the transplant, we want to already have the match.
You know, Mason is one of 1,000 people, you know, every year that needs a life-saving bone marrow transplant. You know, it's hitting home because, you know, everyone knows Mississippi State football, everybody knows all the players, and this is very personal.
Our Cash Matlock will have more details on Mason's search for a match coming up tonight on WCBI News at 9 and 10. For 14 years, it has been a tradition in Tupelo. The annual Communities Forward Festival was established by Tupelo Councilwoman Nettie Davis as a way to build a better relationship between the community and police. The festival at Gumtree Park provides a relaxed way for the people to get acquainted with officers. Davis says it has been a very successful formula over the years.
You see the policemen and the people from the community talking to each other. Even here today, you'll see them communicating. And really, a lot of people think of police as kind of not being human, but they are. Somebody got to do a job. And we are blessed to have policemen who are out here protecting us.
Davis says there has been so much talk around the country about the police and communities joining hands, and that is already being done in Tupelo. Help wanted. If you're looking to pursue a job in law enforcement, we've got just the story for you. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Columbus Police Department has about 65 officers patrolling the city, but they need more. Reporter DeAndrea Turner spent the day with one officer to give you a look inside of their day-to-day job and how community members can help.
Columbus police officer Alan Ellis has been patrolling and protecting the city for the last 3 years.
It's an opportunity to give back to the kids and try to lead them in the right direction.
During his day shift, he patrols the east side.
Yeah, we riding East Peak now.
And he responds to the calls coming over the radio.
Someone there trying to use a counterfeit card or money.
I'll be on my way.
For things like accidents or maybe an activated house alarm. He says being a law enforcement officer takes passion.
You gotta be in your heart to do it. You gotta be there. You gotta be set.
NCPD is looking for new, dedicated, selfless public servants who wants to join the ranks.
We need officers who need some good help. We need people with good minds and know how to operate with the community.
If community members are interested in becoming a police officer like Officer Ellis here, you can go to their career day on October the 5th.
My favorite part of the day would be just people coming out and actually interested in becoming an officer and want to know what we do. I think that's the fun part about it.
The day includes touring the facility, a shuttle trip to the fire range, equipment presentations, and more.
The more officers we have, the more better we are, you know.
The career day will start at 9 a.m. at the Columbus Police Department.
Well, fall is just around the corner, but we're going to stay pretty warm for the next few days. We do have a little bit of a cold front coming into the area, and that's going to increase some shower and storm chances as we go in the next few days. But temperatures are going to stay warm as we go into next week. I'll tell you if we might have a taste of fall coming up in just a few minutes. Well, for once, we finally got some cooler temperatures for a game day. For the last two home games over in Starkville at Mississippi State, it was absolutely atrociously hot, and we bumped the temperatures down 8 or 10 degrees today, so I think everybody enjoyed that as they headed out to the Junction. Take a look at this time lapse from earlier today. This is from the Junction camera at Mississippi State. Lots of folks out there, but notice the cloud cover. It was mostly cloudy for most of the game, and that helped to keep the temperatures down. We did have a few peaks of sun, but for the most part, the temperatures were not too bad, and the humidity and dew point were also a little lower, and that helped to keep us a little more comfortable. And it's going to continue to be comfortable as folks head home from the game as it just came to a close. Here's a live look outside now from the Alpha Insurance Camera Network all across the area. Beautiful sunset just started to take shape with a few high cirrus clouds for us here in Columbus and in Tupelo. Mostly sunny down in Louisville and in Vernon, but still shaping up to be a pretty nice sunset. If you haven't stepped outside, might be a good idea to do that and enjoy the beautiful weather as it continues. Let's take a live look now up in Tupelo. Current temperature 87. Notice though, for once, the heat index is below the temperature. I should get some praise for that, even though I didn't have anything to do with it, but goodness, it is absolutely great to see that. Dew point only 57, and that means we are feeling very comfortable as you're stepping out the door. Dew points in the 50s, almost unheard of in the summer months, even as we get closer to fall. Typically, we're more like 60 or 70, and that's what you're seeing over in the Arklatex region. That's where it's very muggy, but notice all this dry air that is set up over the Twin States into Georgia and up through Tennessee. Dew point almost in the 40s in Nashville, and that is making things feel very comfortable for much of the southeast. If you're looking for any rainfall, we're still pretty low on rainfall for the next few, we're still pretty low on rainfall for the month of September. You can see not much in the way of rainfall all across the southeast. We do have some pretty hefty showers and storms up to our north and west, though. We actually have a tornado warning right now in Kansas, so some pretty rough weather going on up there. Severe thunderstorm watches going on, and this is all associated with a cold front that's going to be slowly creeping its way into our neck of the woods. Luckily, though, no severe weather is expected here in our area. 62 for our low tonight here in Columbus, 65 in Tupelo, basically low to mid 60s all across the area. Overall, a pretty clear and quiet night with some light winds out of the southeast. For tomorrow, much of the same as today. Temperatures going to get up into the low 90s, right around 94 here in Columbus, with just a few clouds filtering in by the afternoon hours. Here's a look at Futurecast. You see that cold front up to the north as that scoots through. We stay dry for much of Sunday, just a few clouds for tomorrow afternoon. And then as we get closer to Monday, you'll notice that cold front gets closer and closer, and that could bring some more chances for some showers and storms. You see by Monday afternoon, notice the radar really starting to light up. Not everybody going to see rain, but definitely want to grab that umbrella and keep it handy just in case one of those showers happens to find your location. And you can see rain potential. The good news is it looks like everybody will see at least some rain, so that will help to get us out of this rainfall deficit that we've been in for the month of September so far. Like I mentioned, fall officially starts on Monday, but from that point on, temperatures are going to go even higher, back to the mid-90s by Friday. But luckily, rain chances are going to stay low as we get closer to the weekend. We'll be back with more right after this.
Aspiring entrepreneurs had some helpful advice this weekend in Tupelo. WCBI's Chad Groening has more.
They gathered at the Education Center at North Mississippi Medical Center to take part in a lecture series sponsored by Project Elect, which means enthusiastic leaders in changing times. Elect Chairman Jeffrey Daniels says they worked with the Community Development Foundation to assemble a team of business experts to give those in attendance some sound advice about going into business.
It's for those individuals, oftentimes they would like to do something that they're passionate about. They like to do something maybe they did at home and decided to want to go into business, but oftentimes some of the ins and outs and the difficulties that arise, they really don't know how to do that. And so we're hoping this morning with the individuals that hear from banking and those who are part of CDBF, I kind of could tell them about some of the opportunities that are out there for them so that they'll be able to do what they're designed to do.
I think you see more and more people that are going out and really kind of trying to find their own niche and market that they can really jump into. So we see small business development as an opportunity with that. I mean, we've seen more and more people really kind of engage in the Renaissance Center for Ideas and ask about how they can actually start their business. Really what we've seen is people that have just come up either with an idea or a service or a market that they feel is underserved, underutilized, and really not helped right now.
Dr. Eric Lewis is a Tupelo physician who says the medical field remains a great area for aspiring entrepreneurs.
So while the hospital is the main driving force behind the medical community here, certainly there are multiple opportunities for people to provide support services to the hospital, whether that involves anything from a food service capacity to the different small items that the hospital will use to kind of develop and to support the larger projects. So I think there are multiple opportunities for people in a varied amount, a varied array of areas where they can take that dream of someday owning a business or even advancing their current business in support of the hospital.
And Lewis says medical coding is a service that is in hot demand.
They could form their own coding company if they wanted to. There are multiple medical practices around that are looking for coders. Certainly if you have some experience and are a very good coder, you're going to be a huge benefit to any organization.
Chad Groening, WCBI News, Tupelo.
The Renaissance Center for Ideas is located on Main Street in Tupelo. We'll have a last look at your forecast coming up after the break. It's time to shake what your mama gave you. Saturday is National Dance Day, which is today. The annual day to get jiggy with it falls on the third Saturday in September. According to nationaldaycalendar.com, dancing can help people stay healthy by improving muscle tone. It's also a great mood booster, which I will say I always feel better when I dance, as evidenced by these smiling faces shaking their tail feathers. And you know what, Trevor? Coming up tonight at 10, we will take a look at how some local dancers around here celebrated National Dance Day, and you know what? It actually felt really good for them.
It did. Luckily, I was not out there dancing because you don't want to see me dancing. I promise you that.
Are you sure?
We've got some folks shaking their tail feather out of Starkville right now after that big game. Lots of traffic there right now. So if you're planning on being around in Starkville, just keep that in mind for the next few minutes as all that traffic slowly thins its way out. We've got some isolated chances for a few showers and storms Monday and Tuesday as fall officially begins. But after that, we start to dry out just a little bit, and temperatures go back up to the mid-90s by the end of the week and weekend. So not quite as hot as we were for the last couple of weeks, but it's still going to be pretty warm and definitely warm for fall for sure.
Well, we hope everyone has a great night, and we'll see you back here at 10 and continue watching some more football.